Alright, so here we go. I did Texas, and now I'm back with Georgia. And I'm here to give y'all the breakdown on predicting Georgia's record next year, um, and kind of where I see them next season record wise, preseason. Um, so I'm not gonna talk about the first two games because we know it's gonna be wins. Let's get to the real nitty gritty stuff here. Nothing bolts of conversation. It's Tennessee, right? So you're going on the road to Neyland. Tennessee's welcoming a new quarterback who well already played a really, I guess you could say, well, I guess already played a good team in Syracuse, so he'll already have been. I won't like he'd be his debut. Oh my gosh, first game versus a real team and something like that. He already played a real team already. I think they'll win that. Um, really high on Tennessee this year, and I think Tennessee knocks off Georgia. I think that people understand how bad Nico Umivele was last year at Tennessee. They understand how much of a one-read quarterback he was. How much of the fact that he didn't throw the ball downfield, and when he did, he was very much inaccurate. His Aguilar kid is not that. I think his Aguilar kid can be their Hendon Hooker. I think he can be an older guy who Hypo can kind of retool, but hey, he's got an arm and he's accurate. Now he has to get this kid to turn, and he's shown that in 2023. I mean 2024, I think season. Uh, 2 years ago at Appalachian, his first year I think at Appalachian State, but 2024, I think 2023 or 2024. Um, he didn't have a pick. Like the interceptions weren't really, they weren't really prevalent. It wasn't a big problem for him. But in 2025, they became a big issue for him. So yeah, 2024. So 2024 it wasn't that big of an issue. 2025 it became a big issue. Last season he had, it was a big problem where he was just more slinging it. But I watched the breakdown on him, and in his defense, he was, no, it's never an excuse. You still need to hold yourself to a high level. You still need to play better. But if you look at the predicaments he was in, I mean, every game, if you go look, every game that Appalachian, like there was games where they'd be down 14-0 in the first quarter. So he was also put in a position where he had to kind of have a gunslinger mentality and kind of go out there and just, hey, we're throwing it because we're down 14, 17 points and the game just started like that. Like it's not even a joke. So some of that sometimes was, his fault. But like I said, not an excuse still because he did play into some of the reasons why they were down. Um, but I will say I think this kid's in a team now where I think this kid's ready for the big spotlight. I think he has dog in him. I think this is a kid that's going something that Nico didn't want to do. Even if he did, he didn't do it well. Was sit in the pocket, take hits, can move around. He's not going to be a run first guy. He's not going to be, oh, my first read wasn't there, or the play didn't go how it was supposed to, so I'm just going to dead it and throw it out of bounds, or run and scramble, or just take a sack. No, this kid wants to win, and I think people in ways they couldn't really rally behind that Nico. I think the fan base is going to rally around, but this Joey Aguilar kid because they're going to see dog in him the way they saw in Hendon Hooker, where he just wants to win. And I think in Heupel's offense, like I just want to go back. I want you to go back and look at the throws that Nico Umiavele missed last year, and it was really horrendous. I really think this offense is going to hit the next level. I really do think that Nico Umiavele held his offense back in major ways that people don't understand. So I think with that and the fact that I do question Georgia's back end. Alliance Robinson's an unknown. Daniel Harris, I'm not high on. I love KJ Bolden, but I do think Georgia's back end and their defense, not just back, but their whole defensive scheme, like their defense just it took a step back statistically last year, and on their field, their play on the field took a step back last year. I think that had a big part to do with the lack of the play in the secondary and everywhere, but mainly their play in the secondary was a weakness for them. So I do think that Georgia defense is taking a step back, and I think Heupel's going to expose Georgia's secondary the same way he did to Alabama and Nick Saban. Mind you, they had Brian Branch, Malachi Moore, and Tennessee tore him a new one. So I just think they're good. The Tennessee's going to rip Georgia a new one offensively. I think the Aguilar kid is going to be able to make throws, and it's going to change. When you have a quarterback that you know, okay, I can trust him to make any throw I need him to make, and he can make them, and he's gonna make them. And when he does make them, it's gonna make okay. Now we have to get back. Now we gotta make sure. Now, now it's gonna let when Hyper knows okay, I got a defense right where I want them because they have to defend everything. It's not just one, two, three things they gotta. It's not just five, 10 things. It's 20, 30, 40 things I could throw at these dudes. They could that they have to defend now because I can actually open up my call sheet and call what I want. I think that changes a lot. So I think Tennessee blows out Georgia. And then going to Gunner Stockton, I do think Aguilar will be the better quarterback in this game. I don't believe in Gunner Stockton. I don't believe in Georgia's offensive line. I don't think they'll be able to block Tennessee. I don't have any concerns about. I think Tennessee's defense showed last year that they're not. They were not the weakness last year, and I don't think they'll be the weakness or a problem this year. At least versus a team like Georgia, I think they're going to hold up just fine. I don't see Georgia being a block Tennessee. I think you're going to see from me is I just consistently in these losses. I just big problem is Georgia's lack of defensive scheme. I believe in. I think people be able to get at their defense and find holes like they showed last year. There was holes. I think they'll be finding some more this year, and I also think they'll be playing better quarterbacks too this year too. And so guys like Heupel and Kiffin will be, I mean Kiffin already beat him. So, but yeah, I think that Tennessee's lack of I think Georgia's lack of ability to block Tennessee will be a big issue for them coming in. Yeah, so like I said, I hope I just said that right. But yeah, Georgia's lack of ability to block Tennessee will be a big issue in this game. I just don't see them being able to hold up for Tennessee consistently. And then I think when you have a Gerard McCoy, who is Jeremiah Smith's whose daddy is Jeremiah Smith, I will give Jeremiah Smith that. But other than that, Gerard McCoy has been phenomenal versus everybody else. So I think he's gonna erase somebody. And then you got Boo Carter, who was a they nickel back, they slot guy. I think he has some good pieces in the secondary. Ricky Gibson, I don't know if he's really that good, but um, I think it's also Jeremiah Smith's. I mean, that's Jeremiah Smith's son, just like Gerard McCoy, Jeremiah Smith's son. I said dad, it's Jeremiah Smith's son. But like I said, I think I really do believe that I think that Tennessee will dominate. And like I said, reasons I listen just to recap. Hey, I think Georgia's defense is going to get picked apart, especially I'm looking at the back end, and I think them being able to get over the top. Like I said, this is going to. I think it's reminding me a lot of the Bama game a couple years ago, where this offense is going to remind them a lot of the 2022 offense of Tennessee, where they're just going to light you up, and they're really going to be able to get at people. Like I said, the whole cost sheet's open now. This kid can make any throw. Now he's a gunslinger, and he has a pick problem, but I think Hype will be able to refine this kid, and he won't be down 14 points every game, and he'll have a defense he believes in, and he knows, hey, he's gonna be fine. Okay, no, if it's like he, I think it's gonna be more mentality of, hey, this is Tennessee now. Like this is not, and I have a defense I believe in, and I'm playing to win. I'm not playing just to put up stats. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing, at these lower levels, like school, that ain't, he's just playing to put up stats when he hits the portal. He has good numbers that look good, and some good film. And some, that's all it is. So I think now I'm not playing for stats. I'm playing for wins. So I think that'll change his mentality too, and he understands that everything matters, and he's going to play more of a winning style of football. And Heupel's going to refine him. People forget players can get coaches. Great coaches make great, take good players and make them elite, or make elite players great. Like great coaches are going to get the most out of. I think he's going to get the most out of this kid. And I think this kid's mentality is going to change. Hey, this is no longer stats. This is about wins. So. I do think Tennessee blows out Georgia, and also, like I said too, I just don't see Georgia being able to block Tennessee, and then I don't know how Georgia's going to be able to, versus John McCoy and Ricky Gibson, Boo Carter. I just don't see where they're going to be able to attack Tennessee at defensively and be able to put points up on them. I think Tennessee's defense was one of the top in America last year. I think they'll be one of the top units in America again this year. So at least a top 25 unit, if not better. So I really believe in the guy they got over there and D coordinator. So I think Tennessee destroys. And again, I said all that without even mentioning the fact that it's in Neyland. So Gunnar Stockton is going on the road in Neyland. That's going to be his first big test on the road. Good luck, dude. That, especially when Tennessee fans see this, they're already going to see the offense versus Syracuse game on national TV. Like, wow, they're going to be pumped because they're going to be like, okay, we got a real quarterback, and then they're going to see the first half, first quarter, first half. They going after they see his offense really get humming and be like, oh yeah, Aguilar, he's gonna come hype. I'm telling you, he's gonna be somebody. They're going to love this kid, man. He gives me a little pavia. You're gonna really be able to get behind him, even though he's an older kid. He's gonna play to win, bro. He's gonna put his body on the line, and they're gonna love him. And when they see what he does versus Georgia, they're gonna fall in love with this kid, and they're gonna be on their feet, and it's gonna be rocking in Neyland. It'll be so like you're gonna start to be able to hear himself speak. So it's gonna start speaking to a team he has to get in his ear. Like that's what, and then even now it's don't think to be able to hear the kid. So be able to hear Stockton. So I just think it's gonna be too much. On top of the reason I listed before, it's gonna be hell pretty much for Georgia. I think they get run off the field in that game. I think, and I even mentioned Star Thomas Peyton. I forgot his name. The Peyton kid at running back. I mean, they got some good backs. Now, it ain't Dylan Sampson, but they got a good stable of guys that can give you, so I think, some good touches. Yeah, but I really don't look for them to really run the ball. I don't think this is gonna be you're not really gonna beat Georgia running the ball like that. I mean, I will give them that. Like they're not gonna beat. You're gonna have to beat Georgia, and that's not really a weakness for them either. You got to beat them in the secondary with the passing game, and if and then I mean, and you can beat Georgia with the running game, but you got to be able to lighten up the box first. Because if Georgia doesn't, if you don't concern Georgia, or they just play man to man, like man, beat us, show us you can beat us over the top first before we lighten up the box, then you're definitely not going to win that way. So I think that's what they got kind of been last year too. So I think, as I said, I think that's a loss right there for Georgia. Then the Bama game. I really back and forth on this one, but I think it comes down to the fact again. I I just think Bama's D line is loaded. Now I don't think highly of Bama's defense at all, but they are loaded with a lot of NFL talent, especially at D tackle and at D line. So again, I just think this is a big game where Bama's gonna be able to dominate up front, whether that's on the offensive line or the defensive line. I like the guys they got in the trenches, and I think we'll see. I don't know if this will be a blowout, but I do think tennis somehow. So I think Bama gets out. I'm saying somehow, something like I'm guessing, but I think Bama gets out of. I don't know blowout. I haven't seen Simpson, so it's hard for me to tell you what he's going to be or like what. No one's seen him. I mean, only Nick Saban and Kellen DeBoer and the coaches that have been with those guys, like literally that and the teammates. Like that's it. No one else has seen him play, like in a meaningful game. So it's like, I mean, so it's just like it's really hard to gauge a guy. Like you thought we haven't seen Arch Manning, but no one's seen Ty Henson playing even a Power Five game. I don't know. So it's just like it's hard to rate. But I just think the trenches. I think Bama being able to hold up and block Georgia. I think Georgia not being able to block Alabama because they got guys like James Smith, LT Overton, all those guys. I mean, they're loaded up front, man. Tim Keenan, all those guys. And you got Xavier Brown. You got the there's so many dudes. I'm forgetting names. I mean, it's just you got the Bray Hubbard kid at safety. We'll see about Keon Sabb off that injury, but they really are loaded. You got Deontay Lawson at middle linebacker. He's phenomenal. Can really run and that kind of stuff. Really is a modern day linebacker, really athletic, and that zero looks really good. The little sleek, I like it. He'd be dripped out. I can't lie, but yeah, I just think Bama overwhelms them. And I also think too that Alabama receiving room, I think is going to give their strength as Georgia's was going to be hardest. I think the weakness for Georgia, and I think this too. If you couldn't beat, now it's going to be different offense, but if DeBoer was able to put 30 something points, or he scored 40, right? No, it was 40. It was 41-34. If DeBoer was able to score 41 points on you with Milrow, that'd be a different offense. But with Milrow, I mean, DeBoer sliced and diced Kirby Smart's defense last year, and now you're adding an Isaiah Horton back. I forgot the kid's name. I think is it Jermaine. It's not Jermaine Burton, but Jermaine Bernard. You add Isaiah Horton. You add Ryan Williams. I've heard they're raving about Lazier Brooks. I will give it. They have one of the best, if not the best, receiver coach in America. I forgot the guy's name, but they, as he said, they got dudes who are watching film now. I mean, we all seen that. If you haven't seen it, we taught the players out for not watching film. Like they have they're starting to get their dudes. So they added a Derek Meadows. I think his name is 5-star receiver from high school. Like they're starting to get dudes that fit their room. And like I said, I just think first of all, just having Ryan Williams and Isaiah Horton is really really good. And then you add Jermaine Bernard and you add Elatia Brooks. I'm probably forgetting some dudes right now, but they're going to be really good at receiver. And I think DeBoer is going to make it really. It's going to be really easy for Simpson. And I think, like I said, I think DeBoer already kind of putting on that masterclass play calling, or not, I wouldn't say I don't know if he's going to call up in plays, but his offense being able to just decimate Georgia's defense the way it did last year with Milrow, who really couldn't throw it. I'm really concerned if like I read it just doesn't give me confidence. If you couldn't beat DeBoer and shut down his offense when they had Milrow, I really don't know how you're gonna stop it when they have Simpson, who actually fits his offense and what he wants to do more. So that's another reason why I feel the way I do. And then they're even better now. I mean, Horton wasn't there last year. A lot of your Brooks wasn't. I mean, maybe he was, but he wasn't playing last year. If he was, I'm pretty sure because that's true freshman, so I don't think he was. But if he was, he wasn't playing. So it's just like I'm really confident in that. And like I said, I just don't believe in Georgia being able to block Alabama. I don't believe in that either. And so I just think it'll be a rough day for Georgia. I think Simpson will be the better quarterback because he's in a better situation. And I don't. And man, Xavier Brown, Dominique Jackson. They got a kid. I forgot his name. Man, I know his Instagram name, Mustard and Lettuce. I forgot his name. No, Texas recruiter. He's really good. He really tall, man. He's really really good. But yeah, I just don't see it with Georgia. I don't see, and the receivers don't move me. I've yet to be moved by a Georgia receiver. That really is like, oh my gosh, this guy can get open, or he can be somebody Gus Hawthorne relies on, or that tight end. So that too, like Zach Branch, they just don't move me. They gotta show me something first. They're just guys that don't move me right now. So I think Alabama wins that. I don't honestly. I won't say it'll be a blowout, but I do think Alabama. And I can see it being a blowout. Honestly, I really could. I just don't know about Simpson. But seeing what he did with Milroy last year, I don't. If you couldn't stop Milroy, I don't know how you're gonna stop. I just don't know. I really don't know because DeBoer already shredded you last year, and he's getting better. So, yeah. Next is Auburn, and so that puts him at 2 losses right now. So next big game would be at or game I think they is worth talking about is at at the Auburn Tigers in Jordan Hare Stadium. I do think that's going to be a loss. Um, you're going to ask why. I truly feel like this is again, man. I think here's my thing. I think Auburn did some things last year in Athens where they were able to run the ball and actually put points up on Georgia last year, even with Peyton Thorne. I think he added Jackson Arnold. Now he's gonna they were able to run the ball. They had some really nice runs versus Georgia last year and were able to run the ball. Were able to put some good stuff on film versus Georgia, even with having an enough quarterback. Um, so I think you add that they already found some success in the run game versus Georgia last year, and then you add a quarterback that can just make the throws. I think that this is going to be Auburn's going to have a what happened with Sark a couple years ago, where Auburn's going to be the Quinn years, where Hugh Freeze is going to these top 5 classes that he's been stacking finally going to show up on the field, and they're going to skyrocket. Um, and look what that says too. Jordan Hare. I'm gonna get that to that. Like you see, I get to the stadium at the end because at the end, the fans don't control the game, but they do make an impact. But I want to get to the more in the game stuff. But um, yes, I think Auburn already being able to find a good amount of success versus Georgia and being able to put some good stuff on film versus Georgia, even without a good quarterback. Now you add Jackson and Arnold, and here's why I think that here's my thing. Eric Singleton, I don't have to remind Georgia fans who he is. They already know who he is, and you know why. But the guy's a monster. Now, I don't remember if he tore up Georgia or not, but you know he's a monster. Um, I think that this is going to be their Quinn Ewers. I think this Jackson Arnold is better than Quinn Ewers, but he can make better throws. We got Jackson probably will not catch up, but that's my point. We're not gonna get that. I don't want to say that because I don't like. I'm not a big Jackson Arnold fan, um, but I will say that at night two, man. Good luck, Georgia. Good for. I can't wait. I can't wait for them to lose that game. But um, I think for like I said again, this is Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, Horatio Fields, on top of Damari Austin, running back, and Jeremiah Cobb, who I'm very high on Jeremiah Cobb. I don't know about Austin so much, but I do like him, but I'm very high on Jeremiah Cobb. Then you have the kid Xavier not Tillman, I forgot his name, but the left tackle they got from the portal from Virginia Tech, who's being mocked anywhere from round 3 to round 1. Potentially be a first round pick left tackle. You got Connor Lewis, who could also be an All American, could be a first, second, or third round pick, top 3 round pick. I mean, the offensive line is only going to get better. Is only getting better and better. I says they taken. I think what they all Hugh Freeze needed is a good quarterback, and I think he's going to get it. A quarterback that could just make the throws are going to be there. But Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton, Malcolm Simmons, Horatio Fields, Perry Thompson, the throws are going to be there. They just need somebody to make them, and now Jackson Arnold can make them. I think that if you guys do that and not put the ball in harm's way, which I don't think he'll need to, or I think, and Hugh Freeze is going to coach it out of him and say, hey, look, man. First of all, we got a defense we can rely on, and we're playing to win, man. And it ain't so much like the other kid at Tennessee where he's trying to put up stats, but it's like, hey, I think he's gonna get a real coach off the mind who knows, hey, I can refine this kid. And I think that's why he went and got my. I can make this kid can fit what I want to do. I can refine him and get him what I need to do. And Jackson has his legs too, which I still think he will utilize. He Freeze will utilize. So I think the fact of the matter is, I think Jackson, to me, uh, in what Auburn has offensively, and just being him needing just them just need him to be a good quarterback, and their offense is going to go to one of the best in America. I think really believe they can be that with a good quarterback. Like I said, I think they're going to take that step that Sark took. And seriously, he's an offensive mind like Sark. He's been second, top 10, top 5 these top recruiting classes, top players. I think they have the breakthrough year and go. I'm not gonna say the record I have. I almost spoiled it. You might have just caught it, but I think they have a big year, and I think it's gonna be because of Jackson and him making the simple throws. And I think a team like Georgia, no offense, but again, I don't think they'll be able to slow down Auburn's offense. I don't know. I don't think they have the secondary or this. I don't believe in their defense. Like I said, I think teams showed last year, that you can get at Georgia's defense, and they took a step back to see last year. So I think with guys like Cam Coleman, And the guys I keep naming, Rachel, I think that Georgia, I think they just have too much, and Hugh Freeze is going to be able to scheme up and out scheme and find the holes in Georgia's defense the same way DeBoer found it with Milrow, and the same way Sark's, like all these guys, they're gonna start getting at these dudes because Georgia's defense isn't the same as what it used to be. I think in the run game too, we'll see what Auburn will be able to get. I do think that's something I will give Georgia credit for. I'm not sure how successful people will be running on Georgia, but we'll see when you can lighten the box. Here comes Demar Allison and Jeremiah Cobb now busting big ones, right? So I just don't think Georgia's defense is all that, and I think people have. I don't know what change. Well, they don't have the same players either. I don't think they definitely don't have the same players on that they used to in the secondary. And I think it's going to be a big thing for Georgia. As a secondary, it's going to be a big struggle for them. I think they got away with playing a lot of bad quarterbacks this year, and they're not going to get away with that this year. So I think Auburn, this might get ugly. I think I can see it being a blowout. And then how are you going to block Keldrick Falk and Malik Blockton and the guys that Auburn has? I just don't see them being a block Auburn's D line. Then you have a Jay Crawford and a Caden Lee. They got some young guys. They played the most true freshmen last year. Those guys, Auburn played the most true freshmen last year on a top five. What a top thing. I mean, they got just big, all these big recruits that they played last year freshmen on top of the freshmen they got the year before. Like, dude, they're coming, and those dudes are only getting older. So I'm just. And so I'm just excited to see what they're going to bring. But this team's only getting older and better, and it reminds me a lot of what happened in Texas, where this is going to be the breakthrough year for Hugh Freeze. I think this is going to be one of the big games that kind of cement himself as, hey, I'm here for a long run, not a short one. So, and then lastly, Jordan Hare. Good luck, Gunnar Stockton and Jordan Hare, because just like Tennessee, when Auburn, and this will be more, they'll have more to believe in because there'll be more games that have been played versus especially good competition. So they'll have seen Jackson more and really start building belief in him. But when they see that what happens with this crowd, good luck. I really do think that it's going they're going to give Georgia hell. I mean, even the last time Georgia went down there, it came down to the wire. That was what Hugh Freeze's first year. It came down to the wire. And it took Brock Bowers and these guys. Brock Bowers ain't there no more. No offense, to Oscar. I mean, all offense to Oscar Dove. You ain't Brock Bauer. So, yeah, it's different in Auburn, man. And I think they have the team now, and they put some good stuff on film last year versus Georgia, but they're really gonna take it up a notch, break through, and they're gonna run right over Georgia, in the plains. And it'll be a celebration. Yep, you see a lot of this. So, I think that's a loss. That's a third loss for Georgia. Then next we got Ole Miss. So, Ole Miss. I think this is a loss for Georgia. So, um, I think the way I'm looking at it is, I think Austin Simmons has a chance. I think he may be better than Jackson Dart. He's a lefty, but the drive he had versus Georgia last year was really a man's drive. You don't do it unless you're a man, unless you're a dude and you really know what you're doing. You don't walk in versus Georgia, the game you didn't expect to play. Walk in there and do it. He did. He did it, and he did his big one in that one. I was really impressed by him. I just watched it before I made this breakdown, or just before I came on here. Not and it kind of just confirmed to me. Damn, Eleanor Wizard cancel what the hell? But it kind of just confirmed to me everything I need to, the way I not everything I need to know, but like or kind of I feel about him. But I just think this kid is it is in Athens, but I think again it comes down to quarterbacks in these games and what situation they have around them, and I just think Elizabeth has a better situation. And I think Lane showed last year, hey, not only did Lane score 20 points with Jackson Dart, I think this kid could be better than Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart might have been holding back. They're like they could have intercepted Jackson Dart through in the first drive they got the ball, the first drive he got. It big. I don't think Austin is making those plays. On top of the fact too is Austin is kid a lot smaller but a lot quicker, and I think it's going to add a new wrinkle. Not just maybe he's going to be running, but it's going to be the fact that he's no longer more. Dart was more of a pocket passer. I can run if needed. This dude can really move around the pocket. He's really small. Not you say really small, but he can really run. I'm gonna say he's small. I don't know his measure, but he's not as big as Dart. And he can really move around. So that's going. He's not really going to be more of less of a duck, and he's going to be a lot more harder to catch. And it's going and for a defense, he may need it versus the D line, but we'll see. I honestly they held up well versus Georgia's D line last year. So, but yeah, he's going to need it. And I think on top of that, plus what they got at receiver, I like Deshaun Stribling. I love Caden Lee. I love Deshaun Stribling. I love Harrison Wallace from Penn State. I love the Caleb Cunningham kid as a freshman. I think that guy's a freak. He reminds me of the A.J. Brown, DK Metcalfs. If you know, you know. He looks like the next one up at Ole Miss. So I think Austin Simmons like I said, this ties into last year. he put up 20. Dart put up 20 on you. Okay, my bad. Dart put up 21 on you. Austin Simmons had he led a touchdown drive. So actually, Dart put up 21. He put up Austin's already put up 7 points on you last season. And so I think he's better. I think the offense will be better with him in it. With him in it, I think it'll be better because he's not gonna make mistakes. Where even like Dart had a really issue with just throwing the ball with no like care. Like he just didn't like even look at the when he threw it into versus the pick versus the first the pick he threw versus Georgia before he got hurt. Or I think he might got I don't know, but the first drive versus Georgia he threw the interception. The interception he threw to I forgot the guy's name. Never said Dan Jackson. Like just made no sense. The interception he threw versus Georgia when he threw it in the triple coverage right in the end zone made no sense. The one he threw, the first one he threw versus Florida, but then it got called back penalty, so declined. Almost got the ball back. Then he took it and threw it again, and it got picked off right next to Ole Miss's sideline, like the next play or whatever. So he threw a pick, went and cried on the bench, threw a pick, flag, went and cried on the bench, came out okay, flag on Florida, declined, or accepted, my bad, and then almost got the ball back, and then I think next play or whatever he threw it, or next couple plays he threw it and he picked it right off again. Like they picked it right off. I didn't say it again, but he picked it right off. It was just like it was the perception. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about it, but I just know it was like the ability to have no care for like, hey, I probably shouldn't be throwing this ball right now, or like it just really this throw really make it's like it's almost like he was brain dead. I really question like what I don't understand why he did that. I don't understand. It's like the guy played like it's like his brain just shut off. Like he just like yeah, in no world does this throw make sense, but I'm about to make it, and it just didn't work out. Like so, I just don't see Austin Simmons making those plays. First of all, so I just think that already makes Ole Miss's offense better. When you have a quarterback that doesn't play like a doesn't make mistake, not a mistake. I mean, it's a mistake, but doesn't make throws like that. Automatically, that's a win for what's it called for Ole Miss. And I think and so I just think I think a lot of quarterbacks last year held back their offenses. I really think it was a down year for quarterbacks, and it's very known that it was. So I think a guy like Austin Simmons, another example. I think he's going to uplift and take his offense to another level. And a team versus a team like Jordan. And so if the way I feel is, I look at it. Okay, he had 7. Jackson had 21 of the accounted for 21 of the points. He's got accounted for 7. So that's 28 total points he scored in last year and he already showed he I mean like, no fail on him, but he showed. We'll see how long it lasts, but like the kid looked. I mean, he graduated. I think he graduated college already. I mean, this kid is I think is really special. I mean, you just don't. Now, almost is no. I don't know how prestigious they are academically, and they're not looked at as some other universities, but that's impressive. I mean, the kid. I think he went to college. I think he even left high school early. I mean, the kid really does like to graduate college already. What is he, a sophomore, going into his junior year now? I mean, like the kid's flat out impressive. His work ethic is all he's second to none. He's a very confident kid. You just don't do that. You just don't do that. That's top 1% type stuff. Like to be doing that off the field, I just can only imagine what he's doing on the field. If you're taking it that serious academically, and I'm sure that's. I mean, that stuff translates, man. It translates. So I'm really, and it means you're really smart. You just like I said, he's not going to make those dumb mistakes. What do you want from your quarterback? I want a quarterback that I know is smart in the mind. And this kid's going to have a high GPA, going to graduate college early. So that means he's studying and doing all the stuff he needs to be able to excel in the classroom. What do you think he's gonna be doing in the film room? All that, because that means he's really, really smart, and that's just gonna work out really well for Lane Kiffin. I think they may have a first round pick, a number one overall pick level kid. We'll see, but I just think that they're gonna have an elite quarterback play. And K. Lee, Dijon Stribling, Harrison Wallace, Caleb Cunningham, all the guys they got, Caleb Odom. They're a really deep room. And on top of it, I don't think they'll be able to block Ole Miss. I think Centurion Perkins is a monster of a man. I think Princewell Umiamelon, his brother, who was Princely Umiamelon's brother, I think is a monster from Nebraska. I don't see them be able to block Ole Miss. Personally, I just think Ole Miss D-line has a way with Georgia. Kind of did it last. I mean, they held Georgia 10 points. I think it'll be around the same. I think Ole Miss's D-line will kind of dominate that game, and defense will kind of dominate that game. And then the Ole Miss offense will also dominate the game for the reasons I just explained. So, like I said, the way I look at it is if Dart put up 21 points on you, and and this kid already put up 7, and I think this kid's gonna be better. He's a full-time starter now. What do you think is gonna happen? So and mind you, Trey Harris was out that game. Like there were dudes out that game, but Trey Harris wasn't playing. It was Jordan Watkins, Daquan Wright, Caden Prescorn, Caden Lee. Like I think argue that's when Caden Lee really showed something, or one of the games really showed something. So like yeah, like I said, I'm very confident Ole Miss winning that game, man. Even on the road. I mean, even Kirby Smart himself came out and said, "Man, we need our home crowd to be louder and be better." He called them out multiple. I think it's not one time, multiple times last year. It's embarrassing. Now, those honestly were the games I'm not. Those are the games that I really had to think about. These games down here, these next three games, I really did not have to think about. Especially these next two. Florida, I think will flat out be a blowout. I think before DJ Lightweight got hurt, they were up 10-0 or something like that, or 7 or whatever. I promise you, if DJ Lightweight never got hurt, they would have lost that game. I'm telling you right now that Florida's a different team than DJ Lightweight plays, and it's gonna show. They're gonna blow the doors off Georgia if that kid is there for that game. I don't even think it'll be close. Um, they will not now. Florida's defense does have issues. I do think that defense does have. I really question their defense. I'm gonna be honest, but like again, it comes down to that offensive line for me, and I'm looking at Caleb Banks and Tyreek Sapp. I don't think they'll be able to move those dudes up front. I don't think they'll be able to block them, and I think on top of that, I do think DJ Lauer is going to be. Like I said, it comes down to quarterbacks too. I think DJ Lauer is going to be the better quarterback by far, and I don't think Georgia will be able to stop Florida's offense. John Michael Sturdivant, Aiden Mizell, Eugene Wilson if he's healthy. I mean, they're going to have dudes in that scheme. And then don't forget Jaden Ball, who's actually from Georgia. Ironically, that was a big get. That was a big get, man. That kid's a first round pick to me at running back. But mind you, honestly, might be like Damian Pierce clone, honestly. But yeah, he's a monster. I mean, it showed last year. I mean, like you saw when D.L. was in the game, Florida was like they do a bond to Mizell, like they were coming for Georgia that game. Like so, like if that kid's healthy, I just don't see them being able to beat Florida. I think D.J. Lyles will be the better quarterback. Now Florida's the offensive line. I saw Slaughter, especially our tackles. Will they be able to hold up versus Georgia? We'll see. They held up last year, before he got hurt. So it's just gonna be can they hold up? I think they will be just fine. But that could be an issue, and then we'll see what Florida's defense could do. I could see Georgia scoring some points, to be honest, because I'm not the biggest believer in Florida's defense and their D coordinator. I just haven't seen it from them, and I was more a fan of the kid, and I think they started turning the corner last year, but they're gonna have talent. I like Jordan Castell. They had a big freshman kid over there from last year. He's gonna be number 13 on one of their DBs. Like they're gonna have some dudes, but I just don't see them being able to score for Florida. I think Florida's just gonna run them off the field. I mean I know the Florida's defense may not be great, but I don't know like I don't I mean they're gonna score 40 points to win. I just don't see I don't see them keeping up with Florida's offense. So I think the defense will be good enough to make to be. I think the defense is good enough to where the point where Georgia won't be able to get to 30 or something points like that. So as long as they can keep Georgia under 30 points, something like that, because I think Florida could easily score 30, 40 points on Georgia. I think if they could hold Georgia, I think Florida's defense is good enough to hold Georgia under 24, 28 points. I think if they can do that, and I think they'll be just fine because I think Florida's offense will be able to score 30, 40 points in this game. So pretty easy. I just don't see them. I don't see Georgia being able to hang with Florida. Like I said, Gladwell will be the better quarterback for, and then this will be the dude. This will be the biggest. I think it's going to be an all-time whooping that's going to happen in that. I really think Texas is going to walk on Sanford. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be an all-time whooping. I mean, they're going to whoop up on Georgia. It's going to be a beatdown to the likes they've never seen before. I mean, it's going to be like, I'll tell you, Georgia fans, man, we beat y'all twice, blah, 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 all this and that, about all that pent up frustration is going to get unloaded into one whooping. Just a flat out beating of Georgia. I think Sark and them, because trust me, I'll be honest, if you don't know, the Texas fan base is upset. Well, not upset. We are, I will say, it bothers the Texas fan base, and I know it bothers the Texas football team. Because when you make comments like, hey, how do you feel? How does it feel to know Texas? How does it feel? How does it feel seeing Texas win all the SEC championship games? And Kirby Smart jokes and says, "Oh, what? The bat in basketball and swimming and diving, bat in basketball and baseball." Because he's saying because we didn't beat them because we didn't win one in football. We don't win basketball either. But I get the joke. But he's trying to joke around and say, "Oh yeah, well they're winning in all sports, but they're not winning in SEC. They're not winning in football because we are." You're taking subtle shots like that. and you go around after you beat Texas and Austin, you go around, open up your tongue like a slut, like you some kind of like you in the club, and you open your tongue, shaking it around for everybody to see, and DKR celebrating like you just won the lottery and all that. Oh, trust me, it irks, and then you do, and then you have this chance to begin again, and I mean, we lost, we blew that game honestly, but this is gonna be, I just think not only for Sark, I know he's very much looking forward to this game, because of what happened and the comments Kirby continues to make. Um, I know Arch Manning and them are looking forward to this game. I know the players looking forward to it. I know for sure this Texas fan base is looking forward to it. I just think Georgia fans, I really, 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 I'm being honest. I think after November 15th, I think y'all need to log off social because it's not going to be pretty for y'all. I mean, I really think because y'all going to already have what? Lost to Florida, Ole Miss, Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee. So it'll already have been whooping after whooping after whooping. What Texas is going to do to you is not even going to be. It won't. I mean, it'll be something that's going to be talked about for decades, and it'll be for the wrong reasons. I really think it's going to be whooping, and I think it's going to be an all-time whooping of Georgia. I don't see them being able to stop Sark's offense at all. They weren't able to stop it last year. They won't be able to stop it this year, and they're not going to be able to block Texas at all. And I'm just telling you right now, they're not gonna be upset at all. I don't see them. I mean, they may score. I mean, look, if they get 20 points, 21 points, they lucky, and it may be just because it may be garbage time stuff. But other than that, I don't see Mike Bobo doing much versus Mike PK and his scheme at all. It'll be a long day for Georgia and Gunna Stockton. I'm talking about so bad they might question benching the kid. At this point in the season, with the way their season will be going, if I'm right, they might question they might be benching. You may just question benching the kid. So I think we flat out Texas gonna whoop up on Georgia so bad, it's not gonna be funny, and it's gonna be because I know why it's because, but it's gonna be all that pent up anger for Texas on this Tex on our side. The Texas side is gonna just come out in one game, and it's gonna be this game right here. Because Georgia fans, hold your horses, man. I'm gonna tell you something. It's gonna be like I say, y'all not gonna want to see this. Y'all thought y'all beat us bad. Oh, wait till we see what y'all see what happens in Athens next year, man. Because it ain't gonna be pretty. And then, whoo, here we go. The revenge. The revenge. I think Georgia Tech beats Georgia in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This game is gonna be rocking. Let me tell you something. Everybody, the whole country saw Georgia Tech was this close to knocking off Georgia. I got Georgia Tech whooping on. I don't say whoop. I won't say whooping, but I got Georgia Tech beating Georgia. I'm telling you right now, they gonna beat them. Haynes King is back. They got the Jamal Haynes kid, and they lost Singleton, but they added a kid from FIU who's supposed to be a stud, Eric Rivers Jr. He can kind of replace that production, that level of player. We'll see, but he's gonna be one of the star guys. I have another kid too. I forgot his name, but he'll be one of the star guys. So big time portal star receiver from the portal, dude. I'm telling you right now, man, they were this close last year, and they got our guy Blake Gideon from Hookham, from Texas, as a new D coordinator. So you see, I mean, our defense was phenomenal versus Georgia last year. Offensively, Georgia's offense they never were able to. We shut down Georgia's offense every time we played them last year. So I think Blake, he knows what he needs to do. Defensively, he'll have the scheme. I think they're gonna beat Georgia, man. I said a couple years ago, I was like, I watched them play. I was like, man, now Georgia won the game scoreboard wise handily, but I was like, Georgia Tech, man, this game was a lot closer than you would think. Like Georgia Tech in a couple years, maybe we're gonna hang with Georgia. And guess what? It's been a couple years, and last year they hang. This year they gonna hang Georgia. They gonna hang them. Don't worry, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly. Georgia's they're gonna. I think Georgia's gonna win this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's handily. Because here's the next thing too. Is going now. I don't know who scheduled guarantee 30 is what it is, but either way, it could be at Mars. The Georgia Tech that Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is gonna be rocking so loud, so loud. Wait, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Is that Georgia Tech's home field? Hold on. Oh no. No. Okay, so for some odd reason, this game. Now I know they're not in the same conference, but for some reason, this game is being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. I just noted that this is not being played at what Georgia Tech's home field is Bobby Dowd. This should be playing at Bobby Dowd Stadium at Hyundai Field, but it's not being played at Bobby Dowd. It's being played at Mercedes Stadium. So, dude, I'm telling you, they just give Georgia. I tell you, Georgia gets so many breaks. Man, I don't even, dude. Because I'm telling you, man, I don't know. Wow, dude, they screwed. Georgia Tech got screwed, man. 'Cause I'm telling you, if they would have played this at Bobby Dowd, man, that place would have been rocking. But for some odd reason, this game's being played at Mercedes. I don't think it'll change the result. Now, it's definitely gonna help because you're not gonna play. Because I'm telling you, man, had they played at Bobby Dowd, it would have been rocking that place. And I mean, everybody in America knows that. But they're not playing there. They're playing at Mercedes-Benz. I don't think Georgia Tech fans, because what I think the season are going to have, they're still going to show up. But we'll see. I don't think it'll change the result. I still have Georgia Tech winning this, and I think probably pretty handily. I think that's that. I think they definitely found something versus Georgia's defense last year. And I think again, really good coach who continues to stack talent. And now, hey, when they went to the portal this year, they got higher level players because people saw what kind of team they had, and they saw like, man, we're you away. What they told players in the portal, we get you, we're beating Georgia next year, and we're beating this team, and this team, and you look up all of a sudden, and now Georgia Tech's in the playoffs. That's what they told guys in the portal, and those guys can believe it now. They see the vision now at Georgia Tech. So I think they're gonna take care of Georgia pretty handily. So that put Georgia at 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, 4 loss, 5 loss, 6 loss, 7 loss. Right? So I have Georgia at one. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put Georgia at Yeah, let me check that one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. So that'll put Georgia at. They'll put Georgia at 5-7. I think. I think 5-7 is good. I think that's where I put Georgia at. I think I put Georgia at 5-7. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video off, but yeah, so that'd be our record for this for Georgia, be 5-7. I think I explained everyone. I explained why. Think they take a big step back, man. I think the season Georgia's gonna have, man, it's really gonna be ugly. Like I said, I have 7 losses for Georgia. Excuse me. I explained every one of them. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments, but it's gonna be rough. It's a real schedule now, man. Real quarterbacks too, and real gurus. You got Brent Key, you got Sark, you got Napier, you got Hugh Freeze, you got Lane Kiffin, you got DeBoer, I mean, you got the best minds in the sport. Like it's just really hard. Like you got some of the best minds in the sport. So tough schedule. I think Georgia lose 7 games. So I got them at 5-7. Losing season. I think is going to really start making people reevaluate Kirby. I think people understand he's not Nick Saban. He is Dabo Sweeney before he's Nick Saban. He's closer to Dabo Sweeney than he is to Nick Saban. So leave it at that.